just as I think to myself, I've got everything under control now, I've got rid of all the mess and clutter, look what happens. So I've got bits of Kirby heritage here, a box that I don't even know what's inside it. I've got another Kirby heritage here what's damaged. The wheel was snapped off of it. It snapped off the front casing, which is a shame. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with this one yet. Then I'll have to, I think I might just break it up and sell it for parts, because that ain't no good now. So I think that's what I'm going to do with that one, break that one up and sell it on for parts. But no, I've got no room again. This is the story of my life, I tell you. Every time I make room, more stuff comes and then I have no room again. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I'm going to have a serious lifestyle change, I think, because it's getting a little bit frustrated now. But yeah, I've got bits and bobs here, bits and bobs there. It's quite late in the evening actually, it's 6:30. And yes, Mr. 55 points. It might be 1:30 in the afternoon where you are, but it's nearly getting on. It's getting on for the evening over here. Where are you again? Michigan. Yep. Well, in England it's somewhat different. Plus, also, the rain is very, very rainy. Floor is soaking wet. The old mower over there is very wet. I had to put a grass box on top of it. But that yeah, that grass is somewhat, well, it's only been raining now for probably, I'd say it's been raining for about 3-4 hours. It's just sort of the tail end of it now. It's just sort of calming down a little bit. There's well, it's not really raining that very much anymore. But that grass there is, you tread on it, it's like a sponge. So yeah, not very nice. I understand there's snow though in Michigan, so, well, I'd rather have snow than rain, that's for sure. Mr. Ibasiak, if you're interested, I've got this Kirby heritage here. 1981 heritage. It works. I don't know what else to say about it. I think it's got a few tools. Nothing majorly wrong with it. And I've got this Legend 2 here. The bag needs to go back on it. I know I haven't finished cleaning it up, but I've got too many of them, and I've got 3 heritages now of that heritage ones and 2 legends, and I don't need those. So if you're interested in either of those there, those 2 there, just let me know, man. I've got all kinds of spare parts for it if it needs it. So need to slim down a little bit, man. I don't know why I've got 3 of them. I really don't know why. I don't know. What's that all about? I don't know what it's all about. That's that broken one. I'm keeping the rest of them. Keeping them. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. They're in the way, big time, man. I might have to put them on the roof. I don't know. Anyway, let's have a look at the real reason I came into here. I've had a little tidy up. I've not had a tidy up. I've had a root around, and that is all the stuff that's going to go into storage. I'm going to sort that out tomorrow. Anyway, let's have a look at the real reason I came into here. It's because I wanted to have a look at my old moped. I haven't looked at it since I brought it home, and I thought to myself, well, I'll have a look at it and see what bits are actually missing and see if I can get it to run. But then I realised I won't be able to get it to run tonight because it has no spark plug, and I don't have a spark plug for it. I'm going to have to go out and get one. But I've just noticed there's several bits and bobs missing. There's a nut off there missing. So what I'm going to do actually, let's run over it now and see which bits are missing, to see which bits I'm going to have to bodge together in order to get it to work. So, I'd imagine, well, that still works. So the nut on that isn't going to be an issue. I'll have to find one eventually. It's not seized up. That's a good sign. It does turn over. Choke works. Now I'm wondering, I did have a tool for the compressor to blow it off. I've lost it. We've got no exhaust, that's for sure. I don't need an exhaust to get it running, but it's going to be a bit loud without it, but never mind there. The belt is there. I might slip that belt on actually in a minute. So So I need a spark plug. Throttle. The throttle is working, which is a good sign. If I remember correctly, this was pretty nifty. This was. I think it done about 30. Look, I stuck little speed stickers over it. How many miles has it got on it? 4,448 miles. Don't know whether that actually works. In fact, I'd imagine for a little moped like this, it probably just went around little side roads to get from work or whatever. It probably 4,000 miles is probably about right. That's probably quite a lot actually for a moped. I mean, I'm not particularly clued up on mopeds, but 4,000. You know, you'd expect more than that with a car because cars go actual places, don't they? Look, I stuck an Etna sticker on it. That light used to work the nuts. I used to go up the garden in the dark and I used to about to see exactly where I was going. We've got brakes. We've got brakes. Now, what is that? If I'm... what the hell was that? Spider. If I remember correctly, that's a decompression lever. And, oh yeah, it does. You can see it working. We can see it working. Yeah, God, I've got to try and remember how to start it now. I'm pretty sure you have to pedal it with the decompressor lever pulled in, and then when you get up a bit of pedalness, you let the decompression lever out, and then it fires up. I think that's how. I think it's a decompression lever. Let's have a look. Yes, it is. You see it working in there. So if I leave that. Yeah, there's hardly any compression now. If I let that go all the way out, there's a bit more. Well, now we've got a torch. We can have a proper look. Oh, look, there's for the steering lock. Hang on, look, we've got a plate here. What does that say? Where's the torch? 30 miles per hour, 49 kilograms, 46 cc is what it is. It's a PA50, but still don't know how old it is exactly yet. It's a Honda Camino. They're from the 50s. I'm sure they were. Yeah, I'm sure they were from the 50s. Right, let's have a look. Well, I'm looking through my camera viewfinder, but it looks like we've got bolts in the head there all the way around. See, I can't remember what I took off, whether I took the head off or what. I can't remember what I'd done now, but them bolts are there. I'll check to make sure they're done up. So I need to get myself a spark plug, and then I can test to see whether we've actually got any spark. If we've got spark, then all I'll have to do is just make sure the fuel lines are linked up. We will not have any petrol left in there, not after about 8 years sitting in the shed. There is petrol in there. It won't be any good. I'll have to drain that out. But then again, I do like to run stuff on old petrol. So, what's the oldest I've ever run something on? What's the oldest petrol I've ever run something on? Let me think. I had that Honda generator that was apparently sitting in a barn for 5 years, and that still had petrol in it, and that ran. So, assuming that actually was 5-year-old petrol, then that's 5 years old, isn't it? They say that petrol has a shelf life of 2 weeks. I doubt that very much. Anyway, let's put things together and see what happens. If I can try and put that belt on actually. Well, I have actually got the belt on now. It took me a little bit of jimmying with a screwdriver and a picking thing, but I've done it. It was tight, but there we go. I've got it on, and the little mechanism there does still work actually. You have this little lever here, and because you can either use this as a push bike to pedal it, or you can have it as a moped. You push that down. I think it's down. Is it down? I think it's down. And yep, that's it. And then now you can just ride away, and you're just pedaling it as you would do a push bike. And then when you want to start up your engine, what you do is you stop, reach back, flick that up. Now it's going to turn your engine over, and when you pedal it is when it turns the engine over. So you got to get a bit of, from my memory, I mean I was only about what, don't know how old I was now, 10 years old perhaps. I had to get a bit of momentum, but all you got to do is pedal it, and then so you can either start it up while it's on the stand just by pedaling it with the wheel going round, or you can actually ride it along and start it up as you're riding. But yeah, all you got to do is that, and it turns it over. So I know the little mechanism in the clutch works still, but as far as I can remember, the reason I took it apart was because I used to ride it around, and one day it just went bang, like a big loud, well, to me then, being how young I was, it was a big loud bang. And so I took it, I can't remember exactly what I took apart now, but I took some of it apart anyway. It wouldn't start after that, because I remember it went bang, like a backfire sort of thing, and it wouldn't start after that, from what I can remember. So then, as far as I can think now, I took it apart, done something to it, I don't know what, and then it started after that, but it had a bit of a knocking sound with it. So then that's why it's in the state that it's in now, because after I started it up and it had the knocking sound, I then took it apart again to try and find out what the knocking sound was, and that's just how it stayed. Now, like I said, now it's sat in the shed for 8 years, exactly like that, in bits. So I can't remember, nobody can remember what I've taken off, what I've taken apart or anything, but at least I know that that little mechanism there is gonna work, so that when I try to start it after I've got a spark plug in there, we should be alright. I've got the air filter here, look, that's the air filter in there, that is. Where's my torch? Try and get a better lighting for you lot. That's where the air filter is in there. Not that that's going to make a difference, I'm just saying. That's where it is. I remember I used to... it's probably covered in air filter oil, because back then it was when I used to ride like all my dirt bikes and everything. And I was obsessed with having a clean air filter. And I used to cover them in air filter oil. Oh man. So I can pretty much guarantee that this one is going to be covered in air filter oil. Probably quite gooey. Huh, it doesn't actually seem that bad. Well, at least there's a filter in there anyway. I might have to take that out to get it going, I don't know. But yeah. My dad reckons he's got the box for the back as well, the helmet box, what goes on the back, sitting in the shed somewhere. Get it back in! So, go and get myself a spark plug, and we should see what exactly is going to happen. So stay tuned for that part when I when I try and get it to run. We'll see what happens. Hopefully I haven't taken too much of it off, and you know, there's not too much of it missing. Well, hopefully there's not any of it missing, apart from a few nuts and bolts. I've got the plastics over there. These plastics go on the side here. They go on those. Now that's this side. It goes over there like that. Then you got the one for the other side, and then you got the two things that cover up the chain and the belt on that side. Sweet. Well, there we go. Not a lot else to report for this evening. I'm just going to have another little bit more of a tidy up, and that's about it.